Hello friends, my name is Ricardo. Today we are going to make a simple calculator, and we are also going to make this a fun project, and I hope you learn something. And before we continue, you can also subscribe to my channel and like this video so that other people can also watch this video too. So today we are going to use PHP and HTML. I think it's going to be PHP only, and we're also going to learn about some of PHP functions. And why don't we start? Before we continue, to I'm going to use Visual Studio Code as our text editor, as it contains a terminal, a built-in terminal, and I usually have a PHP built-in server like this. And if we go to here, okay, sorry, there's a why don't we open our Chrome here and go to localhost 9999 four times, and there you go, it's still empty. And why don't we try to echo our first hello world, and there you go, it appears it is working. And why don't we start our calculator? It will be a simple calculator that you can add, increment, and what do you call it, you can minus the number, you can divide the number, and times the number. And why don't we build our function first? It will be some two numbers, a and b, and we want this function to return a plus b. And we're going to do the same with function minus a and b, and it will be minus. Again, we will going to times a star variable b. In coding, times is not like this, but like this, and the other will be divide a b, return a slash b. There you go, we have made our four first functions in PHP. And while we're at it, why don't we create our input? We can also, we will use form for this. Form get is enough. We don't have a credential data. And why don't we create our input? It will be a number, as we don't input text here. It will be name first number, and the other is second number, and the other is it will be a choice input. So we will going to use select for this operator, and we will use this is for it is sum, and we'll copy paste this, and we will also use minus the other is times, and the other is division. And we're also going to put our button submit, calculate, and let's see our PHP. There you go, we have our input. And why don't we add the title? It will be a calculator, simple calculator. And well, we are also at our placeholder here. Add your number. This is 2 for the second number. And why don't we try first? Okay, we see that you get our data here. Also, if you're wondering, I don't put action here, as if I don't put action here, it will send a request to the get here. So we will send to the link here, the same link. So I hope you can see this. I'm sorry, I forgot to enlarge the font size. Okay, and to get the data here, we can var dump our request here, and let's see what we got. And there you go, we get our data in the form of array. And if I try to refresh this again, we want to var dump this data if there is data. And to do that, we're going to use this if not empty request. It is a built-in function by PHP, and we're going to do our programming here in this if else block, if block here. There you go. And if we put our, let's say, calculate. Okay, I think I'm going to change this to divide. So we're going to, there is a, to access our data here, we can echo request first number, and it should be 10 here. And why don't we try it? There you go, we get our data. And we want to calculate here, calculate the function, right? And to do that, we can use a function called call user func. It is a function that can be called like this, operator, and we have to put our argument here, and we can do that by this one. And we want to second number here. Okay, and why don't we try it? Okay, it doesn't really do anything, and that's because the function is returning something and we don't really do anything here. And why don't we put our echo here, and it should be 20, right? Cool. Why don't we put our answers here? PHP if So we're going to do our calculation here, but we don't really want our answer to show up here, but we want to show the answer here. And how we will do that? It's quite simple. We will store the answer here in the variable here. So we're going to initialize our variable here, and the variable will be null. I think it's null. No. Okay. No. Yeah. I think it's fine to avoid to just. Okay. So we check if it's null, then if it is a null, then we don't. If the answer is not null, then we want to answer this, and we can do this by put a exclamation mark here. Okay, it has to be a double dot like that, and we want to echo our answer here. Echo answer. And why don't we try again? There you go. We just echo result, and there you go. We've got our number. And why don't we try again? 25. Cool. It's cool. Why don't we try times? And we want to persist our number here, right? Probably you want to just add again, and we can do that by put the value here. If the value is empty, so we are going to echo. We will going to use a ternary operation here, and we can do this by if echo, if the request is empty request first number, we're going to just nothing, but the other is the request first number, and we're going to do the same to others, like so. Second number, sorry, and also for the operator. It's quite tricky for this, but how do we best? So probably like this. We don't use value here, as it is the value though, but we want to, if request operator the same as sum, then we want to echo selected. Otherwise, don't echo anything. And we were going to do the same with minus, times, and divides. It is going to be minus, it is going to be times, it is going to be divide. And why don't we try again? There you go. We can directly calculate simply for the. We're also going to. Yeah, it's quite. And yeah, it's probably over. Okay, I think today's video is for this. And if we try to. Oops, and why is this? Okay. we have to add additional check, and we can also done this by echo not empty request, and if so the logic will be something like, if request is not empty and request operator is the same as sum, and we will going to do this to the other operator. So why don't we try this? Okay, I think it's working. Oh yeah, we haven't created a case where the user accidentally hit the calculate button, but there is not yet. We can create a default value for this, and it will be, we can create a value. We can do this by add in the function. We can also create a 0, and this is a 0 too. If the minus, it is a 0, and the b is also a 0, times is 0, and we will do this to the last function too. Let's try. Okay, a non-numeric value, a counter in online activity. Okay, it will not produce a 0, but well, we just can change the number. We can also change this to 1. Okay, still persists. Okay, why don't we try to var dump first? Var dump is useful here, especially if you are going to do any debugging. Okay, it's a string. It's quite a problem here, problematic one. We have to somehow create a default value for this. So, well, we can actually do this by simply add a 0, and this is also a 0. Okay, why don't we try? We will return a 0, 0, minus, calculate. It's still minus. Okay, that's all I think for this video. I'm quite happy. I think there is no any error in our simple calculator. Why don't we try? Okay, and you can give yourself a pat that we create something for today. We create a simple calculator, and I hope you can learn something from this. It is a simple PHP program. Later, it is useful if you want to experiment something. You also want to experiment with a function. You may or may not have heard about call user func. It is a built-in function to call a function like this. So it is, if it is a sum, then it will call a sum function. If it is a minus, then it will call minus dynamically. Wow. You can also create something like this. If request operator is the same as sum, then call sum, something like that. But it is not very good. It is not really dynamic, though in some cases it is acceptable. But I think for us, we can use this. And oh yeah, I forgot. How about if we do something like this? Oh, there you go. We've got an error. Call user func, expect parameter 1 to be a valid callback function func. Sum is not found. And how to do that? We just have to abort it, right? So how to do that? Fortunately, PHP has a built-in function called get define functions. And why don't we try to for them that first to see what it will produce. Oh, we've got this tons of functions, a ton of built-in functions, and unfortunately I don't think we see the function we have built, something like sum. Okay, there is more elements here, and I think we have to put array keys. Why don't we, let's see, exclude disable. Why don't we for in array? What in array is to check if whether the function is whether an element is exists in the array. So let's see if we have a sum function. Okay, false, and that's because we put our function below the code here, while we want to put the functions on top of the code here. So the functions get read first, then it will call this, and if we do that, it still produces false. Well, we have to check again. Probably, what is this? Still false. We're going to experiment. Okay, I think we don't need this function though. Okay, again, we try again. Is there a function? No. User. Okay, it is quite interesting that we have to, I didn't see this. Probably if the function, I think we are going to let this be. We can do the calculation here. So we have to access the variable to the user. So okay, we got it. And we can use again in array, and we want to check first if the sum is exists, right? True, it produces true, and and we can change this to request operator false. Okay, so we can also add a check here. If this produces true, then do this, right? Yeah, we can do this. Else, if it produces error, no operator found, we can echo don't try to hack this simple calculator. Okay, it appears though if we put this, and probably we can use a software language for this. We can no operator found this, please submit this bug to your email.com. Yeah, we can do this if you want to put this code in your server, your personal server. And I think we're done with this video. Thank you. We have learned something today. We're making a simple calculator. We learn about the form. We learn about handling requests here. This is a simple functions. I think you can do this too. And we also learn about handling the answers to show where. We also handling the null value here on. We also do some debugging here, and I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you and see you. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and hit like this video. Thank you.